To draft the crop top we're going to use to wear this shirt, I'm just going to mark down the measurements we need. So I'm going to mark 17 and half for the crop top. And then I'm just going to demarcate it with 11, and I'm using 11 because it can accommodate my bust measurement divided by 4. So now I'm going to be marking the shoulder measurement. So the shoulder is my shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'm marking 7.5. Now to slant the shoulder, for the back we have 1 inch for shoulder slanting, and then for the shoulder armhole you divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5. So mine, 35 divided by 6 plus 1.5 is 7.3. So I'm going to mark 7.3 here. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back. For the front, 7.5, 7.5. I'm just going to measure this, the 1 inch slanting plus the 7.3, and I have 8.3. I'll just transfer the 8.3 here. Now I can join these two lines together. So I can roll this shoulder 7.5. Okay, for the front, the slanting for the front, the shoulder slanting is 1.5, and I'm marking it here. Now to get the neckline, I'm just going to use 3 inches by 3 inches. Usually to get your neckline, you divide your bust by 12. And my bust divided by 12 is 2.9. So I'm just using 2, instead of using 2.9, I'm just using 3 inches. 3 by 3 for the front. Then I slant it. For the back, I'm going to use 3 inches by 1 inch. And I'm just going to bring it down. Then I'll slant it. Okay, now I'm going to introduce these measurements, the horizontal measurements. Shoulder to bust. For the front, shoulder to bust is 10. Shoulder to top of bust is 7, but I want to use 7.5. Then shoulder to under bust 13.5. Then shoulder waistline 16. So the same thing for the front. For the back, I'm going to mark the 7.5 for the shoulder to the bust area, because I want this dress to be off shoulder. It's going to be on, go down my armpit, and the hand is a spaghetti sleeve. Okay, so shoulder to bust is 10. Now I'm just going to mark come down here and take out 1.5 inch. Usually the difference between my back and my front is 2 inches, but I just want to use 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch for this one. This is at my discretion. Okay, so I'm going to connect this. I'm going to rule out all these lines and then connect them. Now I'm going to introduce the dart lines, and for the back I'm just going to use the bust span. My bust span is, the nipple is 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4. So I'm marking 4. And I'm going to be using 1.5 inch as the dart, so I'm just going to mark 0.75 on both sides. Now for the front, so the waist measurement for the back, is my waist divided by 4, that's 28 divided by 4, 7 plus 1.5 inch for that, that's 8.5. Now my bust is 35 divided by 4, which is 8.75. So I'm just going to connect these two. Before I forget, let's mark out our armhole. To curve the back armhole, we divide the back armhole by 2, and then we just mark ½ inch inside, connect the straight line, and use our curved rule to mark out an armhole. For the front, we just go up by 3 inches, come in by 0.75, and then use the armhole curve. So now I can now do the darts for the front, and I'll use the same bust span, which is 4 inches. Now, to dart the front, I'm using the same 1½ inch that I used for the back. That's 0.75 each on both sides. For the waist area, this is my underbust, UB, and this is the bust, and this is the top of the bust. So for the bust, I'm changing this marker. For the bust, for the underbust, I'm going to use 1 inch on this side, on the side front, and then for the center front, I'm going to use 0.75. So I have 0.75, 1.75. Then from the bust, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and then use my curve rule to curve this dart. And then I can rule it with a straight line, connect the 2 darts. Okay, now for the top of the bust, I will come up again by 1 inch here, and then come to the top of the bust and mark ½ inch on both sides. Use the same curved ruler to curve it. Okay, now I'm going to introduce the side measurements. For the waist area, I have my waist divided by 4, 7 plus 1.5, that is 8.5. And then for the underbust, 27 divided by 4 plus 1.8, that's 8.55. And the bust is 8.75. Okay, so now I'm going to the 1½ inch I took out for the back, so that the back, because the back measurement and the front measurement is not the same, I'm going to take it out from the front, so that when we join the sides of the front and the back, it will match. So here 1½, and then I'm going to rule a straight line from there to the bust point. Okay, it's time to cut out our piece. But first, let's add the 1 inch zip allowance at the back. Now, like I said, I want this dress to stop at under my armpit. So I'm not going to be cutting it out from the armhole. I'm going to stop at where the top of the bust is. The place I marked at the top of the bust. At the shoulder to where my bust starts. Okay? Alright, so I'm just going to cut this out. Cut out the back piece first. Now I want to cut out the ½ inch that helps to avoid zip bulging, and I'm cutting it just before the end of the bust area. And then I also come down at the back with 1 inch downwards like this, as I'm marking it like so, because I like the back to relax instead of just stand. And so for the front, we are going to start with cutting out the darts, and we're going to cut out these darts first, the middle dart, and then we can fold in the side darts, because the front is 1½ inch longer than the back. So that difference, we are going to be eliminating it. You're just going to fold it from there to the bust line, making sure that the line is exactly on the bust line. You can hold this down with a tape, and now you can see that the bust line, the new bust line, is now a little bit away from the original bust line. So we're just going to use our ruler and the marker to connect it to the armhole line to make smoothing it out. Okay, now we cut out the rest of the front pieces. Alright guys, so looking at this, you will know this is not the exact pattern we use when transferring pattern to fabric, but this is the exact process I use in achieving it, because I lost the original video and I had to use this to substitute. Okay, you can also check our description box to see the complete video, and do watch the next episode that is coming up tomorrow. That is transfer to fabric and the sewing process proper. We have few more episodes to go.